what we've been doing, we did this for the midterms. We ended the year with all the non-playoff teams getting letter grades. And then we did last week also with the wild card teams that got eliminated in wild card weekend. And we'll do it again this week with 4 more teams that got eliminated from the Divisional Weekend. So we're going to go in order.
Conference Championship Sunday, CCS.
So let's say sayonara to the 4 teams one last time, to the 4 teams that got eliminated on Divisional Weekend. Oh, Divisional Weekend, rather. And let's start with the Tennessee Titans, who were eliminated by the Cincinnati Bengals.
So as much as Titans fans, listen, when a student comes in, every now and again, they have difficult parents. And that's what the Titans fans were difficult parents for a student. Thought that their student was much more capable of what they really were. But because I did what I did in the preseason and, predicted the AFC South to be won by the Tennessee Titans in August in my article with the3pointconversion.com, that's the number 3, not the word 3. I expected them to get to where they got. I expected them to possibly have a bye, which they achieved. I didn't think they'd win it. I thought KC would. They didn't. It is what it is. Then they came out, and I'll say this much. No one expected Ryan Tannehill to struggle the way that he did in that game. That was not expected. I don't know what it is. I know that the Titans O-line has been dealing with injuries throughout the year, and while I actually watched the games, I was kind of out of touch with what the injuries were going into that contest when I picked it. But there was definitely some struggles there with Tannehill being under duress. He made mistakes that the only time I saw him make were in Miami.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, I'm leaving out times when he didn't have Derrick Henry in support, so he had to do a lot more. We're in Miami, where he was missing offensive linemen. This is easily probably one of the worst high-pressure performances I've seen Tannehill play. And I know it's popular to throw him under the bus. I know it's popular to comment, well, the Titans are looking for another quarterback. Guys, everyone's always looking for a better quarterback. They just usually can't find it.
Probably because of economics, too, also.
Yeah, and that's definitely a pattern. I'm glad you mentioned that because I know a lot of people, fans in particular, do forget that this is a business. And, money never sleeps and money doesn't care about your feelings.
Correct. So what grade are you giving the Titans end this year?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with a B-. The reason why I gave that preamble is to explain why I'm not really penalizing them a whole lot. Listen, I'm not going to hold the student accountable for the inexcusable behavior of their parents. Now, I might call the community resource officer and he'll come in and comment about how dumb they looked on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Thank you, Officer EJ.
Looks so bad. If it's the one guy that sent the thing on there saying, the Bengals, ha, 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 ha. And I responded, yeah, the Bengals.
Ha, 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 ha,
ha.
But of course, they're all going to rush back any moment now and comment about how right we were and how foolish they were to mock us. Because every Titans fan is a high quality citizen that would come in and be so gracious. Anyways, so I gotta be, what did I say, B-,
yeah.
B+?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I say, B-? Trying to remember.
B-.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, because I also want to be as well too, and I think also again when you look at these grades, we talk about expectations way in this thing, and then what we went through the year and all that. So we knew the Titans were a playoff team. We knew that was the standard. Okay, we'll make the playoffs, whether or not they would win the South or be a wild card because we didn't know how good the Colts were going to be. Then we saw the Colts injuries early in the year with Wentz and and Quentin Nelson and all that, and we figured, okay, well, Titans have a clear shot to win this thing now, and then they lose Derrick Henry, and we're thinking, okay, well, they're going to fall to the face of the earth now probably. And
which they did for a bit,
but they sustained themselves and get into the number seed. I know the AFC was a little wonky this year, but Titans did their job for the most part.
Listen, this is why it's great to have a weak schedule. Now, granted, Ryan Tannehill throwing 4 interceptions against the Texans, it took a bit of that advantage away, but it's special when you get to still play them a second time and play the Jags twice. And those games, I think, were the difference in them making the number 1 seed or not. Now, had they come out in the first week, and let's say they had a shot at playing, I don't know, let's say the Steelers. Actually, they might have blown that game. They blew a game against the Steelers before.
Yeah, that's too.
But I think they would have I think they would have progressed past the first round if they actually participated in it. I'll give them that much credit.
Right. I mean, they had some weird losses this year. Texas lost, Jets lost. They had some good wins this year.
They had some wins that you didn't expect either to counteract it.
Right. So, but I think also when you properly grade this team, did they have a good year? Absolutely. But did they fall below expectations based on how they did this year? Yes, because if you're number one seed, you should at the very least win your first game out the gate.
No, I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that because one, Cincinnati's playing hot. I think that's unfair. Every team on the AFC side is scared to play the Bengals, right? So let's not go that crazy. I think the other problem is that the expectations held by the fans were too high, right? Why did they get Julio Jones, Ernest Christian? Because they thought that's what they needed to win a shootout with Kansas City, one that never took place, I might add.
Yeah.
So with all that in mind, you thought the offensive line would hold up better. I don't, Titans fans, especially some writers in the 3-point conversion not named Mike Payton, the general, shouts to him, were trying to tell me about how all these improvements they made on defense, and I told them I wasn't impressed, and now you see why. Again, I'm not here to. I've never said the Titans are a bad team, but I'm just not a believer in them as a Super Bowl contender at this point.
Either.
Yeah, the smartest thing too, in them looking for a quarterback more now than ever, though. I don't know how much sustainable Derrick Henry is with this kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like running backs wear down. Everybody remembers Sean. I don't want to list all the examples, but my favorite two to mention are Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes, and Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson. I could think of as Jones. I knew that wasn't right.
Larry Johnson, not the Charlotte Hornet.
Yeah, not to be confused with Grandmama. Correct.
Exactly. The only reason I even mentioned the Titans being in the conversation of contending is because the AFC was weird this year. It was like a default move.
Yeah, we've heard your horrible reasoning, and some of us need a lot more than faith.
And I still didn't even pull the trigger on that because I don't trust them.
No, you had them. You may have had them fourth at one point, but you had them fifth, and I've said that's been high throughout the year, and once again proven correct.
Yeah, I lowered them after the end of the year. So, but yeah, B- is where that they had a good year, but they are properly rated the way you and I have them. Okay, this should be fun. This should be probably the highlight of the four here. That is the Green Bay Packers, who lost to the San Francisco 49ers on Saturday night. And go. Number one seed also.
Let me tell you why this is a hard grade to give. Because the Packers situation, many things occurred that you should be perfectly able to punish them for and take points off for.
Yeah.
But be damned if they still didn't perform. Right? This was a team that still found a way to be the top seed, right? Despite all the noise. But at the end of the day, it's those little things, those little details not being buttoned up that made the difference, right? I'm looking at you, special teams. I could say all I want about Aaron Rodgers and Mercedes Lewis fumbling. And, let's not forget, weather wasn't exactly stellar. The ish was in Lambeau. It was snowing at times. It's tough to throw in that wind. I don't care if your name's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, or whoever you are. Okay? You're going to have a little trouble in the air game there. Probably part of the reason why Garoppolo threw a pick. And I thought he would have more than one. He did not. What do I know? But when this is why the special teams blunders are what I'm going to hit so hard in this game in particular. This is 101 level stuff. EJ, special teams blocking, especially in the interior line, which, by the way, both the block punts and questions came through the middle. It's not like they came off the edge and some, you've seen the kind of play I'm talking about with a block where some corner goes, and like, it looks like some Matrix stuff, right? Yeah. It might have been more fun to watch than the new Matrix movie. I haven't seen the new Matrix movie, but based on what I've heard, I have reason to believe. So I say all that to say, excuse me, if you don't block inside on a special teams play as a big guy in the middle, as one of the hogs, You are, in fact, doing it wrong. And I don't mean just, oh, you got beat. I mean, high schoolers get taught that. College players see that fundamental. In the semi-pro, I was taught and told that every time by every special teams coach, whether I already knew it or not, that's what they preach. You go to church, what's one thing you're going to hear from? The Bible. Everybody knows it, even if you're not baptized. And yet, the devil still came to Lambeau. The devil went down to Lambeau. He was looking for a score to steal. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie Daniels for the win, bitch. But I think I mentioned all of that to mention that the moment that's the reason for their playoff loss, they're lower than A. The expectations for them was at least championship game, and in some cases, many were predicting a rematch of said NFC championship game between Aaron Rodgers and Tampa. Now, even though I picked the Packers this past weekend, I told you 2 weeks ago why that wouldn't happen. And even against my own faith and my own oracle, it still happened. But
I'm with you. The only game they hit on this weekend, actually.
Yeah. So I'm in that place where I can't give them an A, but I don't think they deserve less than a C either. So I'm going to go to my go-to here in these kind of situations. I'm going to give them a B minus. They could have done so much better with when they have, and the way they lost. It's not like this. If they had lost more like one of the Sunday games, I'd have given them a solid B plus. But no, they're down to B minus, and I can see plenty of defense for giving them a C.
So this was hard for me because, again, we look back to how we started the year. A lot of people were soft, though, because the drama with Aaron Rodgers, whatnot. I know might throw it out a second, but a lot of the drama.
And let's not forget the Week 1 game too. While you're on that topic,
right? Then you have Week 1 game, it happens, and they lose to New Orleans.
The Saints, right?
Right, and then they go on 7-8 straight games, and whatever. Rodgers has the COVID thing, of course. But at the end of the day, to me, it was always with Aaron Rodgers, especially. This was always about championship or bust, or championship. At least get
conference championship or bust.
Right? I go for saying he had, to me, given all the drama that went around Aaron Rodgers this offseason, and it's still a really good team.
Yep.
You had to at least get to the Super Bowl to be satisfactory, in my opinion, based on the expectation. Now, look, again, it's tough because coming to the year, we all thought, I don't know, maybe it could be the year Green Bay falls apart because the drama on this and that. So I had to go C minus.
Yeah, and that's fair. You make a great point that Rodgers is out of excuses, but even though he's the quarterback and all that, it's hard for me to grade so hard on the single player because, listen, the Packers had a run game for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So like that's something that I enjoyed watching. Their defense was okay. They did a great job. You got enough from them to prevent an offensive touchdown from deciding the contest, right?
If you told me San Francisco had a more balanced game and won that game, I can say, okay, fine, I'll live with it because I was, you and I, you more so than me early on, were saying that this is a bad matchup and it played out such.
Mm-hmm.
But we're watching this game together, not together, but we're texting each other in the game.
Yeah.
And it's 7-0 Green Bay for most of the game. You're saying this game's still over because San Fran has no offense whatsoever, nothing.
And I'm still waiting for Garoppolo's second turnover, which never came.
So Aaron Rodgers just needed to make one more play, and that game was over. And the fact that it's not the fact they lost the game, Cal, that really teed me off about the Packers. It's the way they lost. It wasn't that San Fran outplayed them. The defense, obviously, the defense played fantastic, and you get all the credit in the world for that. But you give me one more touchdown, game's over.
I can't. I mean, and the perfect response to the response I'm going to give is, well, he's an MVP, and I expect that. But that's a philosophy thing. For me, it's still a team game, and I have to tell you, EJ, just this, if with all that's going on, you got Garoppolo at a fraction of a percent, at a lower percentage than 100, we'll say, for his shoulder, okay, and you're getting in and disrupting that backfield, and you couldn't get any more turnovers. I could say that very simply about the defense too. And by the way, they did do enough to make it so both Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel are going to be impacted in the next game. So, I mean, there's that in their favor too. But let's remember, there's at least a couple more turnovers out there that they should have gotten. Mm-hmm. I feel like that they didn't.
Yeah. Again, you score. To me, I knew they were in trouble when it was what I think the score was at the time. It was either 7-3. They were moving the ball in late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Rodgers had a chance to put the game, pretty much in my opinion, based on the play played out, put the game away. Just couldn't do it. And to me, it was like, ooh, well. This is why I kept telling in text that this game's not over, because the thing is that even though they're playing so bad, because the game is in reach, they can still commit to the run. They can still, and you have to account for anomalies. The anomaly came to pass, being the block punt. It put it in play. So we made it into his job, and you're number one seed. And we've been praising you all year long as number one seed most of the year. We've been praising you as the number one.
No, that's true. That's true.
Too. So if I'm going to grade you high as saying that you are the contenders, when you let me down on the first rip of the playoffs, I gotta grade you harshly.
Yeah, no. Like I said, if you said C, I got no beef.
I can C minus.
Okay, I'm down.
All right, next
but
team.
Between our two grades, they average a C. I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next team here. We go to Sunday games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lost to the LA Rams. What a game, huh? Jeez.
It was only close because the Rams did everything they could to give it back. Brady had all sorts of luck handed to him again, and unfortunately, Matt Stafford given the opportunity to shine. See what happens when he's not stuck in Detroit? We've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Tell the folks. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Yes. Look, I'm not gonna say Brady was the reason they came back in the game. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But when you give Brady chances, he will.
When you give Brady chances, when he has Pro Bowl caliber players at every level, the name doesn't have to be Brady. Brady could have done it. Stafford could have done it. Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. Aaron Charlet Rodgers. I don't know. Any quarterback not named Tannehill could probably have done it. And I'm including Jimmy Garoppolo because he has, right? So, again, this roster is amazing. What I don't understand exactly is what happened to the Rams defense to where they started getting gashed at the end. I kind of feel like this, they kind of suffered from, Spaghetti Colon Sunday there and got all nervous.
Yeah,
and see also what happened, ironically, against Brady to the Jags in, 2008 in the championship, conference championship game playing Brady.
It was 18, yeah.
So, but again, masterful field goal setup by Stafford. I would have thought that would have been the play of the playoffs until. But getting back to grading the Bucs, I mean, obviously it's incredibly hard to grade harshly on these cats, right? I mean, they literally, they are a walking boot on Tristan Wirfs away from winning this game. Let's call that what it is, ladies and gentlemen. All right?
Absolutely.
There's a reason why you and I picked this game this way. You were about to pick your boy Brady. You were setting up a lunch date already to tell him how great he was until I said to you, hey, O-line injuries. And you're like, oh.
Once I had the O-line, and then we saw Monday night against the Cardinals with Von Miller and Aaron Donald's going fucking ape shit.
Yeah, Von Miller impressed me too. Yeah. That's a good point by you.
The Rams are back. I kept telling you, they're back.
You and your so-and-sos are back stuff.
Yeah, they're back. No, but
I don't know that the Rams ever really arrived.
So
Can we have that conversation?
So the Bucs already entered the playoffs actually hurt anyway.
Correct.
Then you add injuries after coming out. The Eagles win.
Yep.
They were dead men walking anyway. So the fact this game being close, to be honest with you, was actually kind of, it's a credit to the Bucs' heart.
And just asinine for the Rams with all that they gave away. Now, granted, the first Cam Akers fumble was kind of freaked out personally.
Yeah.
I didn't like them overturning it, but by the same token, they felt like they had enough video evidence. I thought it was too close and that they should have gone with what was on the field, but I ain't mad at it.
On the goal line, right? Near the goal line?
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, that touchdown puts the game away even further.
Oh,
we're not even having this conversation.
At that point, it's 27-3 going into the half.
Correct.
Getting get the ball first.
Yeah.
Which they actually scored again in the second half.
I mean, the Falcons didn't even have that big a lead, did they? Anyways, no. Shouts Danny Thompson.
Hi, Danny.
Anyway, they're so awful.
It's okay. It's allowed.
Oh, totally. The fraud cons, man. Let me tell you, the only team more fraudulent than them now is apparently the Titans.
Ooh.
Anyways, no, but listen, you were ready to give him the middle name treatment. I'm not yet, but if he wins the Super Bowl, we'll talk. He definitely has to get through San Fran, because if he gets swept by the Niners,
it's bad.
That's really bad. But yes, for the Bucs, for all that they accomplished, they have the longest string of games of everybody with playoffs and all this other stuff and Super Bowl and potential repeat and blah, 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 blah. Very easily, I'm going to give him an A-. You know what?
Wow, nice.
It's with all the, because here's the main reason why. What gives it a little spice to put it into the A range for me is that that A-B drama could have derailed any other team.
Right.
But Thomas Edward Bieber Brady did his part more than anything else there. I don't care so much, like people want to talk about, he's got all these numbers. Yeah, great. He also has arguably the best offensive roster. Even unhealthy, one of the best offensive rosters in the NFL and one of the best defenses in support. But what he did, granted, it was mired in BS. I didn't buy a lot of the stuff he was trying to sell me, but it worked to keep the team moving forward, and that's all he was really caring about and trying to do.
Yeah, I went a little less than you, but I had the same idea. B+ for the Bucs.
Sure.
Like I said, Super Bowl bust, obviously, but whatever. But I do think if they were fully healthy, they win this game with the Rams. And we have a conversation probably about them beating San Francisco the week after. So, to me,
I can't go that far, but it would be interesting to see.
I'm saying, to me, it's the injuries. To me, it's just the injuries.
It's definitely a big part, yeah.
I mean, if they're healthy, I think they beat the Rams. I'm picking them to beat the Rams because they are on paper a better team on paper than the Rams are.
I think the reason why that isn't necessarily correct is because the reason why the mistakes came is because the Rams started drinking the Kool-Aid and they were feeling themselves and yeah, ding dong, the witch is dead, mother beep.
No, what's worth noting though, they've now beat them twice this year though.
Correct. Yes, that's a great point. I forgot it was a second contest. So all the more. Like, especially, like, bro, Brady does not lose to teams twice in a year. That's typically a thing that does not happen.
Well, that's the Saints.
Right. Again, it happens, but not a lot.
Shit. That's just weird shit.
Yeah, I'm still trying to calculate that. But, there's a reason why the defensive coordinator is a candidate to get a job somewhere. I'm not saying he should get it. I'm just saying there's a reason he's a candidate.
Right.
So.
We're going to coach in a second. But, yeah, give him a B. So. I guess we could touch on that now if we want to. Tom Brady's future, real quick, before we go to the next team. We probably should touch on the Aaron Rodgers thing too. Also, I guess we could talk about it.
Aaron Rodgers thing is not newsworthy at all. He said the way he said it and what he said is no different than anything he said this time last year, and everybody lost their goddamn minds.
I am not rebuilding.
That's the one difference. The not where I don't want to rebuild thing is the only difference.
We got some breaking news here, buddy. Sean Payton's leaving the Saints.
Oh wow.
It's funny because I had this on the docket of topics. Sean Payton's future.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about it after the next team. We'll go to Sean. We'll wrap around the Sean Payton thing in a second.
Sure.
Because we'll talk anyway. But now it's actually more. There's more fluid information now. But yes, leaving the Saints. He's stepping away. Which means Mike McCarthy. Who knows? Just saying. Last team here, that is the Buffalo Bills, who lost miraculous win to the Chiefs. Oh wow, what a game! Bills lost to the Chiefs. Yeah,
the Bills definitely get an A. I can dance around it all I want. I know they had moments where they faltered, but overall, they get an A. They're not going to get an A+, obviously, because again, those moments where they faltered. If they had beaten the Jags, for example, in a game they should have won, they might have gotten an A+, because losing to Patrick Mahomes II, nobody should lose points for that.
Mhm.
But and by the way, all the people griping about the NFL overtime. Let's distinguish two different sides of the argument. Okay, if you say to somebody, "Hey, in overtime, do you think both sides should get a possession?" 100% of people will say yes. The only ones who won't will be either Kansas City fans or what people like myself who are sick of people insinuating that the
Mhm.
Bills were robbed. They weren't. Not unless you think the larceny in question was committed by Patrick LaVon Mahomes II in getting into field goal range with 13 seconds left in the damn game starting on his own 25. If you're going to put that on the overtime rules, you're wrong. You're a special form of wrong. And really, I wonder why you watch football at all.
Wrong.
Or
Well,
in
where
the
am I at?
words
Where am I
of
at? Where am I? Hold
Dr.
on. I got a similar.
In the words of Dr. Percival Cox,
Oh,
wrong, 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 wrong.
I got you.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Now that being said, how do you feel about the rule though?
The rule obviously sucks. I led with that. You buried the lead, EJ Christian. Of course, both
Oh, I'm
sides
sorry,
should get
buddy.
possession. Yeah, absolutely. I know why they're not doing it, right? Because at some point the advertisers are involved and they're going to feel like they get screwed. It is what it is. In a perfect world, the NFL, from a business standpoint and only a business standpoint, want their games to end in time with their 3-hour blocks so that everybody in the advertisers is happy and nobody's worried about the money. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, listen, football games are already 3.5 hours long, for Christ's sake. I mean, work with me here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you gave him an A, right?
Yes, I did.
I gave him a B.
Oh,
Only because
okay.
I'm looking
Because
at
of Jacksonville. No.
well, I mean, it's part of the equation.
I know.
I wanted to see a more dominant Buffalo Bills team. I had them going to the championship game this year. I had them winning 13-ish games this year as well too. Now,
Well,
obviously, they ended well, great, but there was a time. But Kyle, there was a time that the Bills were going to get the playoffs because we had confidence in Josh Allen. But they were 7-6. They lost some couple weird games, Jaguars game, of course, too, and some other games in there. And there was some literally we didn't know there's a possibility they missed the playoffs altogether. And remember
right.
that whole kerfuffle. So
what was their midterm grade? We didn't do midterm grades, or yeah, we did. I forget what their midterm grade was, but it sure wasn't an A.
We always do midterm grades. Count Nash through the game. We always do midterm grades. Always.
Right.
But
right. Yeah. No, I forgot for a second. Chill out, man.
No, that's all right.
I got. Listen, I'm coming down from covering 4 sports this year, including my work with the Black and Gold Banneret.
Ding. I actually think we graded them low actually in midterms because
we absolutely did.
We again. I can't remember exactly where you were at coming into the year. I had high hopes for the Bills going into the year. And at that time, they were still, I think, 5-3, somewhere in there. They were kind of like, they started off great, but then they're winning games against shit teams, and then there's good teams, they play like crap. And we were still kind of like, what's going on? Is this team back to earth a little bit? So the fact they got back to the B, because of the strong showing at the end, and almost beating Kansas City, helped them, their grade go up again.
For all intents and purposes, beating literally any other quarterback in the National Football League not named Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. Let's call that what it is. No other of the 30 remaining teams, because obviously, I mean, the Bills can beat themselves apparently. Hi-yo! No, but no other squad could have pulled that off. None.
No. But yeah, Josh Allen's arrived though. I mean, if we had doubts on Josh Allen before this, I mean, he was fantastic, especially down the stretch. Not just on Sunday, but down the stretch.
He is in that odd place where Russell Carrington Wilson was a number of years back when I was calling him good but overrated. That's exactly where Josh Allen is right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people are saying top 5, and I'm like, GTFOH. Okay, no.